Hello, I'm Beryl Dakers. Welcome to Palmetto Scene. And yes, it is beginning to look a lot like Christmas all over the state as we slowly return to some sense of normalcy for the holiday season. The season kicks off in high fashion with this year's Governor's Carolighting ceremony on the steps of the South Carolina State House. This is an extraordinary event that, as Kelly Barbre explains, takes months of planning and teamwork just to help get us into the holiday spirit.
Good evening, and welcome to the 55th Annual Governor's Caroling.
So the Governor's Carolighting is really a statewide event. And so it's just a wonderful opportunity for the state to get in on the Christmas spirit and really celebrate the season with the Christmas tree lighting. This is the 55th year that the Carolighting has happened. Even though we've been involved for 7, it has been going on for a number of years. And it's just great to see that tradition continue year after year. So we have talent from all around the state that participates every year in the Governor's Carolighting, and it's a great opportunity for us to showcase just the different kinds of talent around the state. So we have choirs, we have pianists, we have the children, we have the Fort Jackson 282nd Army Band, and it just shows how diverse and how wonderfully talented our state really is.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared and the soul felt its worth.
We start planning around August or September every year for this event. And it's a wonderful coordination between the governor's office, all of the different vendors that help to bring the chairs and the tables and all of the different setup equipment, the tents and the lighting and the sound. And then it's one thing to put on an event, but it's another to put on an event for live television. So making sure that it's timed up appropriately, making sure that everything is in the shot, and weather is a huge factor too. You know, last year it was raining on the day of the Carolighting, so we had to move it inside. We didn't get to have the audience. It was just so different. And this year we were so blessed to have a beautiful evening. It was cool but not too cold. It felt very festive, and it was just heartwarming to see all of the families come out to celebrate.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Palmetto State is home to some of the nation's most spectacular historic venues. In this previously aired segment, we're going to look back at the important role these theaters play in showcasing the arts, not only during holiday performances, but for performances all year long.
Newberry is very well known, not only on the national stage, but on the international stage for what it does. It's only 426 seats. That's a small house compared to some of its contemporaries. The theater was built in 1881. Newberry at the time was 2,500 people. They decided to spend $30,000 to build a multi-purpose facility. And it is of a Victorian look. It's very brick. It's very heavy, it's got that beautiful detail, but again, it was multi-purpose in a time period where that was somewhat new. So downstairs, when they finally opened the doors in 1882, after completing it, was the jail, was the firehouse, was the courthouse, was the city council chambers, and it was thriving and bustling, and upstairs was the opera house. So after a $5 million restoration, and it really wasn't a restoration, it was a rehab. Let's bring her up, let's bring this old woman up to really show her personality in the modern age. We got the lobby, we had this space up here, which we reconfigured to be more of the original 1882 look. And we started having world-class events just like we had. Our facility is small, our stage is small, but we get major acts. We have Wynton Marsalis coming up from the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra. That's huge. And that's because we're known on the world stage. We have had Willie Nelson, as we talked about. We have Jane Lynch coming up from Glee. People know about us. We've had our own stars from the ballet guilds and from the schools. Those are stars that are born here too. So this building has become more of a community center in the last 20 years, 21 years, that it really was when it opened in 1882. Why are these performances important in historic theaters? Because historic theaters are the repositories for memories and emotions that have happened time and time again. There's this thread that is woven between the generations, and that's what historic theaters do. They provide the backdrop for an amazing tapestry of emotions, of experiences. It's a performance. It's going home and talking about it and having that adrenaline rush. That's what historic theaters do.
There's a lot that theater accomplishes beyond just being an entertainment for an audience. It's the only art form that really connects the actors to the audience. The doors of the Abbeville Opera House opened on October 10th, 1908. And at that time, a lot of road companies were coming out of New York City, and one of the most popular tours for the vaudeville circuit was from New York to Richmond, Virginia, and then from Richmond on to Atlanta. So from the 1880s on, every major road company was coming through Abbeville on the way to performing in Atlanta, and the community decided if we had a theater facility here, we could sponsor a lot of these New York shows. So they wrote to New York, to the Keith Circuit, which was one of the popular vaudeville circuits at the time, and told them about what they were thinking about. The Keith Circuit sent them the ground plans to a theater where a lot of vaudeville shows were produced. And 8 years later, the historic Abbeville Opera House opened its doors. The Abbeville Opera House, though, will remind you of a lot of the Broadway theaters that you see in Manhattan to this day. It's 75 feet to our grid, another 25 or 30 feet to the ceiling. So this wonderful 7,800 square foot stage back there, when you add that together and consider that that stage floor is on the second floor and we have a costume and storage area beneath the stage floor, that makes our back wall one of the largest freestanding brick walls left in the country. The Abbeville Opera House was first restored to its original turn-of-the-century condition way back in 1968, and it paved the way for the restoration and the revitalization of the entire Abbeville County. About 85% of our attendance comes not just from outside Abbeville, but outside the state of South Carolina as well. We have tour buses from North and South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, who come here on a regular basis to see the many different shows here that we do at the Abbeville Opera House.
It means so much. I mean, as long as it's been here in the entertainment and the way it's affected the community and drawn people from all over the upstate counties, we need to keep it going. The creativity, watching the play come together, watching everything form, it's just a wonderful experience, and you bond with the cast members. It's a great time.
To sit in the audience and watch a show here, you're actually part. The actors on the stage and the audience, the interaction between them in a theater this size is just amazing. It's really something to watch.
People have been coming to this spot for almost 300 years to have performances, musicals, and chamber music. The first theater in America was built on this site in 1736. It was called the Dock Street Theater, and it opened with the Recruiting Officer, which was the first play in America. And then it disappears, probably burned down. We don't know exactly what happened to it. They built a hotel on this site about 1800, and in the 1930s, the WPA, a federal works project, took over the building, and inside of the shell of the old hotel, they built a new theater called the New Dock Street Theater, which was opened in 1937, although they made it look like a theater that was built in 1736.
They gutted the hotel room area, which is what we're sitting in now, and then rebuilt a 1700 theater in its place. 460 odd seating. When I give a tour in here, I will seat my visitors behind me here in the balcony, and I'll stand in box O, which is up right here on the stage. But I can actually speak in a normal voice in that box, and they can hear every word I say, which is a very great tribute to the men and women who designed this building.
Hang up or move out!
We've been performing here for over 40 years. Actually, the very first production was a production of A Christmas Carol back in 1978. We produced that show about every other year. In fact, this year is our 21st Christmas Carol as well. We get to tell many of the stories of our own community and our own state. We've had original plays like The Seat of Justice, which is about the Briggs versus Elliott case. We did a play called Gershwin at Folly, which is about Gershwin writing Porgy and Bess. So we try not only to bring plays from New York and around the country, but to tell our own stories as well.
We have many homes in Charleston that people walk through. You know, you go through as a tourist, these beautiful homes. In effect, they're museums. This is not a museum. This is a live building. And the men and women in here that are part of it, be it the men and women on the stage or the people in the audience. It's an interactive piece. To see it here live with human beings on the stage, there's a magnetism, there's a dynamics that is, you can feel it when you walk out the door.
Nothing gets us in the Christmas spirit more than holiday lights. South Carolina is home to some of the most amazing displays of the season, designed to illuminate the hearts and souls of kids, both young and old alike. Let's take a look.
The show started in 2002, and it's a 2-mile loop. It's over 1 million sparkling lights, and we enjoy putting it on every year. It's our favorite holiday event to share with the community. We've got a 2-mile trail through our park where you drive through and you see lots of pretty lights. They're animated, they're different themed areas. There's Santa flying over housetops. You can walk this really magical wetland walking trail where there's a laser light show. It takes you down to the wetland where there's a dancing forest synchronized to music, and you can walk that trail and be outside, but you're still in a very safe way. Take a leisurely drive through the lights, take a walk on the trail, and come out and enjoy it.
This is our 5th year. of doing the light show. It's a drive-through. A lot of people think it's just a drive-through, but there is 30 minutes worth of music and lights. We have 13 different songs. They're all synchronized to the music, and the lights are synchronized together. You can drive around the track as many times as you like. And then you can go park on our backstretch area where you can actually see all the lights and hear the music. You can actually drive through and feed the animals. We have chutes where you can put the food down. You never have to leave your car, or you are welcome to get out, and go see the animals.
We are proud to present our 33rd year of Lights Before Christmas. We have nearly 1 million lights throughout the zoo side of the park, several ornate images that folks always enjoy, and of course you're going to see some traditional lights favorites. So one of the newest features that we have at Lights Before Christmas is the 30-foot animated story tree that you see right when you enter the park. So this huge tree in the middle of our main plaza. You can hear some favorite animal sounds. The tree lights up with different animal images, and then it goes into an animated story. So whether you're a family or you're here with your friends, there's always something to enjoy, adults and children alike.
Every December, Brook Green hosts Nights of 1,000 Candles. This is our 21st year, and it has grown to be one of the most wonderful candle and lighting displays in the Southeast. We literally have thousands of candles and millions of lights throughout the gardens. Each of the different garden rooms here have a different theme, so every time you're walking around a corner, you're seeing something new.
Nights of 1,000 Candles has really become the largest event here at Brook Green Gardens. It takes a large portion of the year to design it, create it, and put it all together. It takes about 7-8 months of my life. We're working virtually all year into the summer, and we start the lighting installation in the garden right after Labor Day, and it's ready right about at Thanksgiving.
Oak Alley is one of the iconic places. It's hundreds of thousands of lights draping down from 250-year-old oak trees. It's one of the places that we see so many proposals every year. It's the romantic spot. The children's garden is really beautiful. It's got, instead of just the white lights, it's got multicolored lights. We also have a snow machine in there, and the sculptures that are in the children's garden are, geared towards children. So it's really a fun place for kids to go and have a little fun and play in different colors. So it's a wonderful place. Everyone in South Carolina, if you haven't been lately, you haven't been. You need to come back and visit Brook Green Gardens.
As we gather around to celebrate Christmas night, we can't help but marvel at the one person for whom it's the biggest work night of the year. You guessed it, I'm talking about Santa Claus. If you've ever wondered what St. Nick does the other 364 days a year, well, we have the answer for you. We caught up with the jolliest of them all at a very unlikely spot, the beach.
When I got done doing my 1 day's work out of the year, I wanted to take the reindeer on vacation, so I threw the dart and I hit Isle of Palms. If you look out tonight, you'll see some of my reindeer in the marshes and swamps playing. I am Beach Santa. For someone to get on the naughty list, they got to do bad things, and my list of bad things would be leaving stuff or littering on the beach or wherever you're at. That gets you on the naughty list real fast. And it's amazing to see how many people are on the naughty list. During the summertime, what I do is I come down here and do environmental cleanups, whether it be at the beach or in the Tri-County area. When I enter the data It's referred to as a sweep or an observation. My first sweep was August 16th, 2018 was my number 1 sweep. January 1st this year was my 315th sweep, and today is my 693rd or 4th sweep. So I've done 380 sweeps, cleanups this year. Getting that litter out of the environment is so important.
Beach Santa he's a presence on the beach that automatically draws people to him.
You can tell he must be Santa. He is locally world famous.
He is constantly preaching to people about the importance of keeping our beaches clean.
Beach Santa is an amazing steward for our planet. The work that Beach Santa has done has really been inspiring, and that's really important because he cannot solve this problem by himself. Santa needs helpers.
He's particularly concerned about the cigarette butts on the beach. And what a whole lot of people don't understand is how toxic the cigarette butts are. And it's largely because of his emphasis on that particular thing and the data that he has contributed towards giving the Isle of Palms City Council a complete picture of how bad it was that they passed a smoking ban on the beach.
The aquarium has partnered with hundreds of local groups, and they'll go to gather together for an hour or so and pick up trash. And the aquarium actually created something called the Litter-Free Digital Journal, which is a litter tracker. The purpose of it is to have an online resource for people to actually document what the litter is and what they're picking up. You can't come up with solutions that make sense if you don't know what the litter is. And so that's the mission behind this, is to get information to foster policy solutions to some of the issues that different communities have.
He's a one-man machine. He goes out every single day collecting data.
At this point, he has picked up over 300,000 pieces of debris. And in the Litter-Free Digital Journal, we have over 1 million litter items documented that over 1,400 members have picked up. He alone has picked up basically a third of that. And so he's a powerhouse.
What this journal does is to invite people to be citizen scientists. There is an app that actually is part of the citizen science app that South Carolina Aquarium has designed. So with the app, if you're just out and about and you're finding a few pieces of trash to pick up to discard, you can track them in that app. And when you can see how much you've actually done, not only do you know that you're now being a citizen scientist and you're helping decision makers, but you see how much work you've actually done. And it's very rewarding in itself to do that.
To get on the nice list, you've got to be responsible, not leave anything or abandon anything on the beach or anywhere you're at, and by helping out. If you set up on the beach someplace and you see something that doesn't belong there, pick it up and throw it away. If everybody picked up 2 or 3 items that they found on the beach, it would make it so when I came down here to do a weekly sweep or daily sweep in the busy season, I would find nothing on the beach of litter. That's a lot of people on the nice list. A Christmas spirit is about the joy of life, the joy of giving, the joy of sharing. It's the joy about being a good person and doing the right thing. I know that if you look for the good in somebody, you'll find it. And what the country's been through lately, all the ups and downs, I've come to realize that no matter what side of the aisle you're on, no matter who you voted for, if you're a good person, that's all that matters, is being a good person and doing the right thing. We need more happiness in the world. We need more positives in the world. My message for the people of South Carolina is be responsible. Let's make the entire South Carolina beautiful. We need to do things now to protect the future. The one thing that people need to do is take everything with them, take their memories, and they want to leave one thing on the beach: footprints.
Yes, 'tis the season. And for more holiday stories about our state and more details on the stories you've just seen, do visit our website at palmettoscene.org. And of course, don't forget to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, at SCETV, #Palmetto Scene. For all of us here at Palmetto Scene, I'm Beryl Dakers, wishing you the very happiest of holidays.